Hi, I'm Gav, and this is I Want to Know How to Feel Good. When you've reached a point where you find that your painful feelings don't blend into your body anymore, or if you just don't feel like using the blending method, then these are both signs that you've come to the end of using this method, and that you have blended with all of your feelings in your day-to-day routine. But if you find that you feel very similar to how you felt before you started this self-help system, then this is perfectly normal, as you've been using the blending method as a foundation to build upon. One of the ways that I tried to deal with my emotional agony was to see a counsellor. The counsellor guided me back into my horrible past, and when we reached the epicenter that caused me my emotional pain, the counsellor asked me a simple question. She asked, "How do you feel?" And honestly, I just couldn't answer her. As I didn't know how it made me feel. I could guess how I felt, but when I did, it didn't seem like I was representing my feelings. It was like I was just saying what a person in my situation would say about how they felt, which didn't represent me at all, or my experience. It was years later when I discovered my feelings about what happened to me, which all came to me after I had blended with my feelings about my painful memories. In this video, we're going to talk about why blending with your feelings makes you feel better, why the bad feelings come back, the purpose of your emotional self, and why whenever you try something that would benefit you, you soon end up running out of steam and eventually giving up. Though what I'm about to say is scattered through each of the videos, I'm going to let you know exactly what's been going on while you've been blending with your feelings. Starting with this question: why does blending with your feelings make you feel better? We all consciously try to ignore our bad and painful feelings. This is a natural thing that we all do. Over time, our constant ignoring of our bad feelings pushes our feelings into a deeper part of us, and is replaced by even stronger and even more intense emotional tension and emotional pain. We use the first instruction command to blend with and get rid of this emotional tension and pain that replaces our actual feelings that was pushed down. Then, once all the emotional tension and pain has been blended with, we will begin to receive thoughts during our blending sessions. We then use the second version of the instruction command to deal with the specific negative thoughts, as these thoughts represent the feelings that was pushed deeper into us when we ignored them for so long. We then use the instruction commands to deal with our emotional compounds, our painful memories, stressful situations, our future fears, and what we perceive are our physical flaws. But something else that we was doing during blending with these different topics was to show a part of ourselves, which we call our emotional self, that we want to throw out the riffraff, as we're now here to take control of our emotional state. Our emotional self refers to the emotionally intelligent part of us, which is a part that we all possess. Your emotional self gives you thoughts to blend with next, which you get rid of by blending with the feelings that create those thoughts. During the explanations of the method, I didn't talk about the emotional self or how it works. Instead, I just showed you how to get in touch with it and how to follow it, so eventually you can build up your own trust in this higher part of yourself. You know, all of a sudden, I'm feeling like Mr. Miyagi. What is the purpose of your emotional self? Back in the day, me and my brother used to go to karaoke bars and sing to our heart's content. I sat down to watch the next person sing, which was actually a group of 5 people singing on stage. As I sat and watched, it came to me that the 5 people, who were all battling for the limelight, was like an emotional compound, in that there was a group of individuals who were all fighting amongst each other to see who could be the one to outstage the rest. And just like an emotional compound creates a huge ball of tension in the body, the 5 singers was creating a painful experience for the audience, as they all chose to sing the same parts of the song, and each person was trying to sing louder than all of the others on stage. I then saw that the next person that came up, who was an amazing singer by the way, was like when the emotional compound has been blended with, and what's left in its place is something pleasurable that everyone would enjoy experiencing. Then as the great voice left the stage, another name was called to come up and sing next. I realised that the person who was calling the names was like our emotional self, as this person knew the names to call up, which in this analogy, the names called would represent our feelings. This is like our emotional self, as this part of us gives us a thought in our minds of what feeling to blend with next, that dissolves into us once we've said the instruction command and blended with that particular feeling. It then came to me that the bar where we was all sitting, drinking and psyching ourselves up to sing was like our subconscious. By the way, I know the term subconscious has some kind of mystical air about it, but the term only refers to a deeper part of us that we can't experience. The stage and the spotlight was like the conscious part of us, and the one holding the microphone was our feelings, with groups being like emotional compounds. But the one who kept it all going was the karaoke host, which is just like your emotional self. And just like in any karaoke night, we don't need to talk to the karaoke host, as we only need to listen to her and follow her instructions. We also need to learn how to listen to our emotional self, as it will show us how to live with more emotional freedom and how to feel good for the majority of the time, even if at the time we don't fully understand where it's taking us. Something that I found by following this self-help system was that I seem to have and live with all of the problems in the world. But working with the methods, I also saw that I possessed all of the answers to those problems. At least a higher part of me did. The higher part that we call our emotional self, which you're already getting to know. After blending with your feelings, you can feel so much better than you're used to. But why do the good feelings fade away and the bad feelings come back? You will have found that no matter how good blending with your feelings made you feel, the same emotional tension and emotional pain keeps coming back in the same area of your body which you always feel that pain in. Be it a tight knot in your stomach, a heavy feeling in your chest, or wherever else you naturally hold your emotions. The emotional tension and emotional pain keep coming back in the same areas of your body. This happens to indicate that you still have some more work to do in your inner world. But I know that it can be confusing to do a lot of work on yourself and feel so much better, only to feel the same or similar feelings returning into the same area of your body. But believe it or not, this is actually a good thing. You know your emotional pain and you're an expert on living with it. You know what your emotional pain stops you from doing and what you can do and can achieve living with your emotional tension and pain. If every time you blended with your feelings, you felt emotional tension and pain in a different area of your body, you would then have to get used to living with that emotional pain in the different area of your body. This would take more time for you to get used to the new emotional pain and what it represents. You would also have to get used to the limitations the new emotional pain has on you. Do you feel this new emotional pain when you talk to a particular person? Or would you feel this new emotional pain when you step outside your comfort zone or when an unexpected change happens in your life? I used to think from time to time that the methods in this self-help system just don't work, as the same emotional pain kept coming back in the exact same areas of my body. I didn't realise at the time that I really was making good progress and moving forward in my goal to feel good on a more permanent basis. This was partly because I was a little impatient at times, as I was in such a rush to feel good. If you had no positive experience in saying the instruction command in the exact way that I described, then I completely understand that you will be apprehensive to continue with this system. But if you did have positive experiences while you blended with your feelings, but are still feeling unsure if you should carry on with this system or not, then these kind of thoughts are perfectly normal. As believe it or not, there is a part of you that doesn't want to get better and doesn't want you to feel good. The sweeper. Best job I ever had. I once worked as a gardener, and all I did was rake up leaves and hedge cuttings and sweep the driveways after the job was done. We had a good manager of the gardening firm, and he would always say that everything we touch, every path we walk on another person's property, should always look better after we leave. So the main part of my job was to sweep all around the property and pull up any weeds between the paving stones, and to make the paths and patios look like they have just been fitted. I soon became good at this, and it really made a huge difference to how the garden looked. And from all the sweeping, my abs was harder than a waffle iron. If I was ever asked if I wanted to learn something like how to cut a hedge or how to prune a tree, I would always decline, as I was happy just sweeping and making an instant difference. To which the team would call me the sweeper. At the time, I thought this was an affectionate nickname. But really, it was just because all I wanted to do was sweep and clean up. Because if I'm honest, at the time, I just didn't like change very much. You have a sweeper inside you. What I mean is that you have a part of you that just wants to keep things as they are and not try new things, not to grow and not to progress. And when you try something new that doesn't work out, then this part of you just wants to sweep things under the rug and get back to your usual routine. It's a part of you that wants you to not try and feel better each day, as in achieving this, you will have to change things in your life, or so the sweeper tells you. The sweeper tells you things like, when you feel good, you will have to make new friends, find a job, or find a job that reflects the new you. It tells you that when you feel good, you will have to reconnect with your family and friends, and that you may even have to apologise to people from the past, and anything else that's personal to you, just to put you off from making some self-progression. But why does the sweeper part of you have such an influence on your thoughts and feelings? I think this is actually a really good question, even though I was the one that wrote it. When we ignore, block out, and try to hide from our feelings, we also shut out the emotionally intelligent part of us that knows exactly how to deal with those painful feelings. The emotionally intelligent part of us is our emotional self, which you've already been getting to know. And in its place comes the sweeper, who tells you not to try new things and not to deal with that problem over there, or to talk to your friend or your colleague and tell them that I really didn't appreciate what you said to me the other day. As the sweeper tells you that if we try any of these things, if we think we feel bad now, we may feel even worse by trying to better ourselves. The sweeper part of you also listens to me and other people who offer help and support. When it comes to you feeling better, the sweeper part of you hangs on every word said by the person who you choose to help you. The sweeper puts the person who is trying to show you a way out of your pain on a pedestal, where if the person who is helping makes you feel better, you feel extra excited and maybe even special from what you achieved. But if the person helping puts just one step wrong, then the sweeper part of you already has a category assigned for this person offering to help. And that category is, this doesn't work, so stop this new venture right now before it gets too late. Every time you try to help yourself, either by reading a self-help book, seeing a counsellor, or even taking up a new exercise or diet regime, the sweeper part of you goes to extremes by making you feel extra high when things are going good, or extra low when things aren't so great. As soon as the new venture becomes difficult, the sweeper part of you tells you that this is not working and you should stop. As soon as you hit some confusion, the sweeper part of you will say that either the person you are following is stupid, or even worse, that you are stupid. The sweeper part of you isn't rational, it's emotional, and it's probably been dictating to you for years. The way to reduce the effects that the sweeper has on you is to carry on listening to the emotional self in each of the methods, as over time the sweeper part of you will be drowned out by your new experiences of feeling good caused by your emotional self, which is a higher part of you, until the day comes when the sweeper part of you is just a voice that is so quiet in your daily life that you have to listen hard to even notice it. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe and share this video. I'll end by saying that in the next method, we won't just be learning how to feel good, but we'll also be learning how to use our guidance feelings, and you will discover a way to know how you are feeling. Which, to be fair, not knowing how to use guidance feelings is a big reason why the emotional pain keeps coming back to you. I'm sure you think that you already know how you feel, which is exactly what I would have thought too, before I learned how to use my guidance feelings. It's been a pleasure working with you as we learn how to blend with our feelings. With that said, thank you for watching, and unless the sweeper part of you doesn't want you to carry on watching, I'll see you in the next video.